Okay, so we have a division problem here that's nice and interesting. We'll have, we could do this with synthetic, but we're not going to this time. We're going to do it out the long way here. And we're going to say everything's in order, everything's in descending order. But they left out x to the third, and I better put it in there just in case I get an x to the third. I need some place to put it. And they left out x squared, so I better put a place to hold. Why am I putting z now? X to the second power, plus, now we go back to what they have, 5x and minus 4. Okay, so let's see here. We need to make this x squared into this 4x to the fourth. And the way we're going to do that is by using 4, because we need a 4. And we need x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. So I'm going to multiply this times this, and I'm going to get 4x to the fourth. It should be the same thing. It should be the same thing. If it isn't, then I have a problem. But then I have to keep going, and I have to say times minus 3x. Okay? So negative 3 times a positive 4, that's a negative 12. And x to the 1 times x to the second, that's x to the third. So I'm lining up with the x to the third. And then since I have 3 terms in my divisor, I got to multiply by that third term as well. And negative 2 times 4 is negative 8, and I'm lining it up with the x squared, because that's what I have, x squared. So it's a good thing I left room for those places there. The first one, of course, cancels when I subtract. When I subtract the negative, I get a positive x, 12x to the third. And I subtract a negative, I get a positive 8x squared. And I'm going to bring down my 5x. Okay. Now I think, well, let's see, what should I do next? Well, I need to make this 12x to the third. How shall I make the x squared into 12x to the third? Well, it's going to be 12x. I hope you can see. We need plus 12x. If I multiply 12x times x squared, if I multiply those two together, I get 12x to the third. And then I go along like I did before. 12x times the next one, negative 3x. So let's see, 12 times negative 3, that's negative 36. And x times x, that's x squared. And then I say, finally, 12x times the minus 2, the negative 2, and I say that's negative 24x. And I'm going to subtract this line from the line above it. And, of course, the 12x to the third goes away. I subtract a negative, I get a positive, so I'm going to add 36. And I'm going to get 44x squared. I'm going to subtract a negative, and that's going to be like adding. 5 and 24 is 29x. And I'm going to bring down my negative 4. Okay, so finally, how do I make this x squared into this 44x squared? Well, I don't need any more x's this time, so it's just going to be a 44. I'm going to say plus 44. 44 times x squared, that's 44x squared. And 44 times negative 3x, that's a negative, 3 times 40 is 120, plus 12 is 132, right? 132x. And then I'm going to say 44 times negative 2, that's negative 88. This isn't going to work out evenly, is it? Sometimes, usually it doesn't, I guess I'd have to say. And we are going to subtract the green line from the purple line. And when I subtract a negative 132, that's going to be like adding. So I get 161x when I add those together. And I have a negative 4, and I'm going to subtract a negative, so I'm really going to add an 88. And that's going to give me plus 84, because now it's a positive 88 when I subtract it. And that's my remainder. So I'm not sure if I can squeeze that in. Let me try. 161x plus 84 on top of the divisor. Where's the divisor? Well, that's that thing I used to divide. So let's see. That's on the bottom. And that's my answer. Maybe I should write it out nicer than that. I'll say 4x squared plus 12x plus 44 plus the fraction, which is the remainder. It didn't go in evenly. And so I build my remainder in this way. And that's my answer. I had some leftovers, but I did divide it. And notice that when I divided x to the fourth by x squared, my answer was down 2 because I divided by 2 of those x to the fourths.